Good evening, Palace fans around the world. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. Game 22, episode 9 of Play Badly, Get Beaten, Rinse and Repeat. Tonight we're going to try and offer words of wisdom on another shocking display at the CPFC office. Elderly, passionless, spineless, slow and out of ideas. I'm joined by these two ultras to talk about yesterday's fiasco. Good evening, Ian's Noble and Lions. I trust you've had a doormat full of Valentine's cards. Ian Noble.
Yeah.
Been blinding, mate. Blinding day.
Really fantastic.
Ian
Lions.
I'm loving this enthusiasm, this new drive. You know, we're full of passion, boys. On the day that is the 14th. What's the matter with you two? Yes, it's been a fabulous Valentine's Day. So much so, I've got a pass to do the show with you two, Herberts.
There was no cards on the doormat for me this morning. The only
That's because I'm no longer the opposite.
No, the postman doesn't deliver on a Sunday. So tomorrow, get in now. Well, I'm sure everyone as well would like to wish Scott Dan. With us, wish Scott Dan a happy 67th birthday. Well, his knees are 67. But yeah, anyway, happy birthday, Laugh. It's, at least you have a positive day today. Yesterday. It is getting more of this rinse and repeat. I think that the fan base has... I think it's finally turned, but before we sort of discuss turning and people getting the hump and everything, Ian Noble, give us some stats on yesterday, mate. Just make them short. I know it's going to punish us enough, but give us some stats, mate.
Stats from yesterday. Well, yeah. I need to find my notes you sent me now, because you want me to be accurate, don't you?
Well, I don't really care. We lost 3-0.
Look, we lost 3-0. It was one of those games that you think, when it can't get any worse, it does. I read somewhere, why do I feel worse today than when we got beat 7-0 by Liverpool? And one of the reasons we feel worse today is that Liverpool occasionally thrash teams. They're bad other times, like they were yesterday. But Burnley just don't do that. Burnley had scored 14 goals all season before yesterday, only 5 away. Then they put 3 past us. The boy Rodriguez up top, he hadn't scored for 21 games, and he gets on the end of a corner that really we should have just dealt with for the second goal. And then the other stat was that this boy Lowton at right back was man of the match, and he scored his first ever Premier League goal, I think. I mean, he might have scored one before, but it was ages ago. And those kind of stats, just, it's only Palace could happen to, couldn't it? It couldn't happen anywhere else. And just when you think after the Leeds fixture, we want a reaction, we just get completely the opposite. And again, at half-time, 2-0 down, you think, we want a reaction, we get completely opposite. The goal they scored at the start of the second half was the kind of goal we should have been scoring at the start of the second half to get ourselves back in it. So I haven't got loads of stats for you, but that's just my take on where we are. Joe.
Well, go on, Eve. Have a little bit more of a stab with a match report then, if you want.
He's dumbfounded, isn't he?
No, I'm talking to you, Ian Lyons.
Oh, well,
yes, I've done my bit.
Okay, all right. So you want me to have a stat? Well, before we do that, let's give a shout out to people that have bothered to turn up and hear us go on about it. So you've got the likes of Rob Donovan, Ian Napoli, John Lyons, Richard Thomas, Steve Brimble, Paul Gruber, Steve Chandler, Charlie Byrne, Wayne Hetherington, Jack Mackenzie Kerr. Some new names this week. Good to see you all. Someone called Nick Philpott, Mark Drew,
Troll. blocking someone.
He's trolling, is he? Brad Campagnac, Robert Best, Paul Grant, James Convey. If the names are going on and on and on, welcome to everyone. We hope we can put at least a bit of a smile on your face, if nothing else, through the doom and gloom. But as far as the match goes, the summary. Well, we got to 5 minutes, didn't we? Without conceding. So that was a relative positive. And then they managed to luck one, didn't they? And then we managed to keep the ball out the net for another 2 or 3 minutes, maybe a bit more, 4 or 5. Oh, thank you, Mr. Noble. Good job. You got the stats there.
I've got them in front of me now. I can give you that back in a minute.
So that was 2. What else can we come up with? Well, I don't know. Really, it was nice to see yet more changes in the squad. Whether or not they made a difference, well, perhaps they did because Patrick Van Arnold was on the pitch. I have to say, the third goal by Loughton, what a goal! Superb. I mean, it looked as though PVA was roadkill after he ran straight over it. But the kid stuffed it away, didn't he? I'm trying to be positive, as people can probably tell, which is really unlike me when it comes to the team at the minute. My concern isn't necessarily the loss. I think it's probably the manner of the loss and looking at the fixtures moving forward as to what that could potentially mean. But yeah, 3-0, well beaten. Roy, I haven't even bothered to look at his comments because I'm sure he's come out with the same old guff. The players can't be happy with the performances they put in. I think Gyro was probably the only one that was worthy of a mention. Every time we got the ball, he drove with it and moved it forward, and then the wheels seemed to fall off. So
I thought Kleiny had a good game, Ian. I thought Kleiny had quite a good game at right back. He made some mistakes, but he got forward a few times really well, didn't he?
I think he was the only other one worthy of mention, to be honest. He did put a couple of good crosses across.
Yes, only one I could think of.
All we saw that was Benteke, not even at the back stick where he should have been, but Benteke somewhere at the back of the penalty box going like this, as if every time he loses a ball, it's like this, as if to say, "Oh, that was so close. Oh, I'm really trying hard." It's not good enough, is it?
I think the commentator on Sky, for me, summed it up with regard to our forward players. They said every time we got the ball in the box, and we did get the ball in the box a few times in the first half, they were on their heels and not their toes. And I thought it was quite a good way of putting it. Now, they just weren't in the right place because Kleiny did put a really good ball in the first half. We were 2-0 down by then, by the way. And really, Benteke should have been on the end of that, but he wasn't. As you say, he was like miles away from it. But I've got the stats now, Joe. Should I just go through the stats if I can? So that the stats were, we could see the goals in the 5th, 10th and 47 minutes of the game. Possession, we actually had more possession, 51%. So it's 50-50 really. 51 to us, 49 to them. Shots, 7 to Palace, 9 to Burnley. On target, we had 2 shots, which is unusual for us. It says Burnley 2. They must have had more than that because they scored 3 goals, but there we are. Corners 4, Burnley 4. Fouls, Palace 11, Burnley 8. That's just in the first half. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Second half, 54% Palace, Burnley 46%. Sorry, those stats were for the first half only. And then shots, Palace 6, Burnley 7 in the second half. Shots on target, Palace 1, Burnley 2. Corners, Palace 3, Burnley 0. We had as much of the ball as them, but we were ineffective with it, weren't we? And I think once we go 2-0 down, we just had to chase the game, but we didn't have enough about us. We didn't have enough invention. We didn't have enough. Even Eze, there was a lovely little move in the first half where Jordan Ayew played a 1-2 with Batshuayi and then a 1-2 with Benteke as well. Then he passed the ball out to Eze, who tried to wrap his foot round it, but he was about sort of, I don't know, 6 foot wide or something. So there were little moments, but it just wasn't enough. It really wasn't enough.
You say that though because I thought the player who was our best player for the first sort of 10-15 minutes was Jordan Ayew. Now, I've said for ages, I swear some of these players, they watch what we say on social media because all of a sudden he turned into a team player. He was beating people.
He was passing the ball more.
Passing the ball. I was like, hang on a minute, what's going on? But yeah, I mean, there were cameos of very, very small cameos, but on a day when we were well beaten, we can pretty much cover the whole game off. Within 12 minutes.
I think with Ian, and as soon as he mentioned 51%, should have stopped it there. We never win when we've got more than 50%.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was 51%. I should have realised, shouldn't I? You know, that was
the first half. We got better stats in the second half, apparently. There we go.
Someone turn their screen off. Someone turn the sound down.
Oh, someone keeps pinging us. That's why. Go on, Tim. What did you want to say, mate?
Show how sad it is and how bad it's got. I put a post on the Predictions League. Good stuff, Ian. Yesterday I woke up, the usual thing, watch the game. And accidentally I caught a message or something about Roy. And I didn't bother. I can't do it again. I saw a few other comments. And it's the first time that I can remember that I've actually, even when we've lost, I haven't watched the game, or at least some of the game, because it's just... In the end, last night I did watch the highlights because of the show today, and it was just embarrassing. And us old people that have been around for a while, I don't think I've seen them all lackluster, unimaginative, a team who couldn't care less, who don't just want their money. There was nothing that I could see that was positive. The goals, I mean, their second goal, did the guy even leave the ground? He was just in the middle of the 6-yard line, and I think he may have gone on his tiptoes to knock the ball in from the corner. And they say, I don't know, it just seemed to me they just didn't care, they didn't want to be there. For me, it was a straw that broke the camel's back.
What I was going to ask, what I would say, Tim, is you're right. Certainly with regards to the second goal, didn't have to move at all, did he? It just fell on his head and he just nodded it in. But they were far better than us at their crossing and their delivery. And there's something that we've been going on about for months on this show and on the platform with regards to service to our strikers. Our crossing has been woeful for years now. I think the last time we actually were any good at crossing was Benteke's first or second season under Allardyce, where he scored 15 goals, because we were supplying them to him with Balassi on one wing and Wilf on the other. Since then, our wingers seem to think they're forwards.
Well, I mean, we need to just cut off this game because it's rinse repeat. We say it all the time, and it's getting to the point of where we sort of just everyone, we're just getting bored of it. I tweeted yesterday, and one of my friends came back to me, Ian Waggle. I said it looks like the team, like the fans want Roy gone. And Parish has said no, and the players have gone, hold our beer, we'll sort this out. And he said, I hope that isn't the case. That would be. He was sort of not offended.
I can't believe it. He was like, I can't believe it.
No, but you hear about it. You hear about players getting the manager. Now, I not known for a fact, but it's a pretty well known fact that when certain managers have been wanting to get rid of our club, right? That the club captain, along with some of the senior players, have gone to Parish and said, "This has got to finish," and managers have been binned. Now I'm not sure whether this has happened. I really don't. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
Here's the thing. Do you think we would have put up with that performance, especially the second half yesterday, if there had been a full crowd inside Selhurst Park?
We say that week in, week out.
But just listen, hear me out. Yesterday, at 2-0 down after 10 minutes, with Roy and the team walking that from the dugout through to the corner tunnel, the old stand would have been going apoplectic at them. They would have had to walk the gauntlet even at half time, and certainly at full time. You know, and I think that has an impact on management of a football club. You know, and I've seen managers of Palace get into rows with fans because they start having a go at them, and they turn around, and they give a little bit back. You know, and that is, I like that because that shows a bit of passion. You know, and they're keen to engage with supporters. I just think we wouldn't be as bad if there had been a full house inside Selhurst yesterday. That's what I think.
No, I disagree. Hey?
Well, here's a question for each one of you, and maybe Tim can take it first. Do we think Roy has lost the team, has lost the players?
I think
Quick answer, Tim.
Yeah, I think he probably lost them about a year ago, to be fair. I mean, you look at the end of last season, the abject misery that was it 7 losses and 1 draw, and it's the way they were playing. You know, you look at Luca. I mean, you look at Luca's performances over the last season. PVA, Townsend, you know, players that a couple of years ago we were saying playing really well, great in the team. But look how much they've dropped in their performances.
Luca, yes. PVA, yes. I wouldn't put Townsend in that bracket.
No, me neither. So Townsend's confidence has been destroyed by Roy. Player of the year, and then next season they don't even start.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Ian, Lyons.
Well, yeah, I mean, in danger of answering my own question, but yeah, I think he's lost the players. I think they've got no faith in his system, in the way that he plays, and he's not a presence on the touchline. It's Lewington that's the presence on the touchline. It's Lewington that's apparently tearing into him at half time. So just what does Hodgson bring? If it's just his coaching on the training ground, then training ground is where we're getting a lot of our injuries. You know, why aren't our bells ringing up in the board? I don't know. One thing I'd like to set running now, actually, while you guys answer the question, is that if anyone can think of a reason or a justification, and look, well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If everyone can think, or anyone can think of a reason or a justification that they would like us to keep Roy, put it in the comments, and we'll try and get them out there, because we don't want this to be one-sided. We appreciate there are people out there that actually want Roy to stay and like Roy, but I'd like to understand the reasoning, you know, based on what we've been seeing recently. But, you know, back to the question, Joe, what do you think about him having lost? Do you think he's lost the team?
Yeah, completely. And I thought it was a long, long time ago. So, you know, that's all there is. I've said it for ages. I don't think the players have got any respect for him either. Yeah.
I've been in the Roy in camp, or support Roy Hodgson. Look what he's done for this club. He's kept us up for years and all the rest of it. Rescued us when we were in real shit street, when we'd lost 4 games at the start of a season. But yesterday for me was the straw that broke the camel's back. I say he's got to go now. If he doesn't go now, definitely at the end of the season for me. Has he lost the dressing room? Yes, I think he has. I don't think the players are playing for him, for sure. And something has got to change this summer at Crystal Palace Football Club.
Yeah, but the chances of it changing are not just going to come from the fan base. That's the thing. And I think just purely from a monetary factor, I don't think Parish is going to take any notice of us if he just wants. Well, he hasn't. Everyone thinks that we're guaranteed Premier League football next year, and I'm telling you now, because we've been in that position. You know, I'm sure that we were, and we are still the only team to not get relegated when we were bottom of the Premier League on Christmas Day. I'm pretty sure that is still the case, but it's not going to be that stacked forever. Someone else will make a run. I can see it being West Brom out of those 3, you know, out of the 3 of them. But
had a good result today, didn't it?
Well, yeah, that was as a bonus. That is, you know, they never won the game. But
with that in mind, Well, what I was going to say, boys, was with that in mind, Tim wanted to come in there, but with that in mind, maybe based on what you just said, Joe, we need to cover the next 4 fixtures because I think
no. We'll cover the fixtures in a little bit because we've got some more important things that I think.
Go on, Jel. So, where we going next?
We've always said that there doesn't seem to be a plan A, and without Wilf is our plan A. Not like it was our plan A for Pardew. He's been our plan A since every single time he's been at our club. Ever since he's been at our club, he's been our plan A. Almost every single thing that important that has happened, apart from his little spell at Man U and where he was out on loan, every single thing that's been positive about our club, like it or not, has pretty much stemmed from Wilf. But what I will say is that Wilf isn't a leader. Wilf is a doer, and he is a trier, and he's an enthusiast in the side. But we don't have a leader. I'm not talking about a captain because we've had captains come and go. And at one time last year, I think we had 5 captains, or the year before, we had 5 different captains on the pitch. So, you know, Delaney, Jedinak, we Speroni, we've been there and done that kind of stuff. So, but we do not have a leader, and no matter what way people look at that, can go, what's he talking about? But literally, who will fight his own teammates in the dressing room to either A, get the shit gone, or get them at it and get them up for it. Because we used to see some of our players, Sean Derry, Clint Hill, Jeff Thomas. I go back for the older fans as well, who used to just go, well, do you know what? He ain't a bad baller, smash him. Because that's what they do to Wilf, and that's what they were doing to. That's what other players' teams do to us. We don't have a leader to go out there and grab the game and grab the players and go sort your life out, because this is not just this is embarrassing. It's almost a willful neglect of a contract to the fans to entertain us, and also for their money. Because I'll tell you now, if I at times I think I'm a better Tyler than Patrick Van Arnold is a better footballer. I'll put it out there. I don't care. I'm better at my job than he is, and he gets millions every year, and I don't. Ian Lyons.
Yeah, sorry, Tim. Tim, I'll kick you very quickly. I think we have got a leader. I think it's Cahill, but I think he's off form at the minute because he's too busy trying to shore up the other holes. But again, he's not someone I think we can rely on. The other thing I wanted to say is Fulham are 2-0 up against Everton.
Can I just say something? Just quickly, sorry, Tim. So I don't think Fulham have won up at Everton for 60 years, right? They were 4-1 this morning, just at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Or they've been backed into 5-2. Just saying.
Sorry, Tim.
No, I was the whole leader in a team, if you like. It takes you back, and it kind of is apt with the interviews that Ian's doing. Is I know when I first started going to watch Palace, and you had Jim Cannon at the back, and again, you know, typical no nonsense. You need players like that. Brian Robson when he was at United, Vinnie Jones when he was at Wimbledon. But you need a player. We don't have that. We haven't had that for years. And what scares me at the moment is everyone saying, "Oh, we're safe. We only need another point, or a couple of points, and we're safe." You look at the other teams and what they're doing and how they're suddenly playing. We've got nothing like that. And what scares me is the fact that it's been going like that for years, may I say, and the board and parish still do nothing about it. And going back to what you were saying before, and I'll take a hit for the team on this one, I think we'll be there this year. And if COVID keeps going the way it's going, I think we'll be there next year, because the club is so scared about losing the TV money from the Premiership. They're blinkered. Roy is the only thing that will keep us up, and I think they'll keep it.
I can assure you now that there will be empty seats at Sellers Park if Roy's there. If fans are allowed back in the ground, I can assure you, I know loads of people that will not renew a season ticket if Roy Hodgson is in charge, and he's in charge of that. Just rubbish, just complete rubbish. Go on,
Tim, I don't think Roy guarantees us Premier League football next season.
No, I don't
necessarily. I really don't, because if we play like we've played in the last 2 games, we ain't going to win in the next 2 games. Now, these next 2 games, I know you're going to get to a bit later, Joe, you said, but these next 2 games are really vital for me. It's not like we're on a losing run of 8 games or anything. We've lost 2 games. The 2 games before that, we won. Thank goodness we did win those 2 games, because otherwise we'll be 17th now. And
go back 20 games
away tonight,
and we're rubbish.
But that's
a scary result if Fulham get a result tonight, I think.
But that's my point. My point is, if I'm Parish or the board and I look at the end of last season and the way we played and lost those 7 games, to me, the alarm bells are back then.
I couldn't agree more.
That's why I think,
this is my take on it. We've always struggled. We've always struggled to stay in the Premier League, and then we have like a little spurt that gets us out of the crap, right? And the thing is and this is what the bottom 5 or 6 are going through now, is that every game for them is a cup final. Every game for us is a beach game. And this is, I'm going to come on to my other point that I was going to bring in earlier, later, sorry. And I've put that with 14 games left in, 14, not 4. We're playing like there's 4 games left in the season. There's 14 games left in the season. And it feels like our players are on the beach already. Now, for me, to have that kind of attitude, and you are literally, and I've seen this loads of times said today over social media, and I pulled it out a couple of weeks ago with the more than £1 million in wages for a particular game, and yesterday, is that we have got too many players playing for a paycheck. That's it, purely for a paycheck. They don't care whether they're going to get paid, whether they score, whether they're injured, whether they have a mediocre game, whether they have a great game. It's just, and the thing is at the moment, is with 24,000 people missing at our grounds, if you're having a bad game, you get told. And you will hear it every time you're having a bit of a nightmare, you will hear the loads of people screaming, but that one bad comment comes through the crowd, hits you, bench confidence. They haven't got that, or they have got no one going, pull yourself together, or giving you a bit of a G up if you're having a bad game instead of coating you. They haven't got that. And the thing is, our players are literally cruising. And there's no snapping the tackle, there's no chasing down, there's a complete lack of, there's an incohesiveness within the team, which makes me think that there's the lack of spirit, of everything, which to me means that the manager has lost the team, and that there is no leader there. There is no one to get you in a metaphorical hug and kick you either up the arse or congratulate you or get you going. And for me, you have to have that. Every team's got one. Every single team's got one, except for us. And if someone says we have got that, you need to point them out, because they ain't doing it properly. Ian, Lyons.
Yeah, I can't disagree with a lot of that. I mean, going back to the original point around Wilf being and us over relying on him, get him out, get rid of, he deserves to move him on, so we can get this, this Jonah off our back, if you like, because until all the time he's with us, people are always going to bring it up. People always bring up the stat, and stats don't lie, and maybe the team do, or the opponents worry too much about Wilf. And if they didn't, then they'd probably fare better at us. But moving forward, with regards to the current situation with or without Wilf, it's just I've seen Martin Kelly's name come up about 5 times in the chat. Why isn't he being given a chance? I think we missed. I think Kiarte's done pretty well at centre back, but I think we miss him in midfield because he's clearly not playing him there because he favours Luca. The Roy's decision making You boys have said it. I know at least twice in the last few weeks and months. The definition of madness is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. But my biggest concern with Fulham winning 2-0 at the minute, with West Brom, nicking a point off United, is that this apathy, this complacency that people clearly have about our league position is quickly being eaten up. And I don't want to be the one saying, we told you so, from the Championship. We need to... If we lose against Brighton in the next fixture, you watch the whole thing go into meltdown. And it goes into meltdown, and they're the better side. I hate saying it, they are the better side.
Yeah.
By an absolute mark.
Yeah.
Let me just cover something off, Sorry, I'll come to you in a second. Now, I know people going, "Oh, one man doesn't make a scene," but let me just throw this into the mix because I've been thinking about this for the last couple of weeks. Eden Hazard left to go to Chelsea. Chelsea a toilet. They are not the team. They are not the Champions League team. They're not the team that destroyed everyone like they were when he was there. And that's Eden Hazard to Chelsea is what Wilfried Zaha is to Palace. Everyone has a talisman. Everyone. And you have to have a talisman in the team. Yeah, and the reason you have to have a talisman in the team is because you've got a youth team that needs to come through that want to be Wilfried Zaha, want to play with Wilfried Zaha. It's just, but for everyone to go, I know what you're saying about getting rid of him, but what's the point in getting rid of him? What are we going to get for him? Let's just say we were at a touch and got 50 million quid for him. We're only going to get 40 million because they'll want to pay 10 million or 15 million quid next year. We've also got to give 25% of that away to Man United.
Yeah.
Is £25 million going to be enough to replace Wilfried Zaha in our side that pretty much guarantees us a third of our points every season? No, hang on a sec.
I don't think we should sell him. I don't.
We just got to give it his word what he is.
I don't want to see him go.
But he is what he is. If we have to give him £200,000 a week, that he's going to get somewhere else. We just got to give it to him. He's got to stay with us, and we need to accommodate Wilf. We need to accommodate Wilf like we.
But do you think we would have won yesterday and won at Leeds if Wilf had been playing?
No, I can, team. I can see you. We're trying to talk something out. Hang on. I don't believe. I think their desire was. I don't know. I don't, and I think their desire and the way that they were set up was set up to beat us on our own pitch. We are not as good as what people think we are. We're just not a cohesive team. What's the matter?
No, I completely agree with you. The first thing I would say is you're exactly right regarding the talisman. I mean, we haven't got Nick here tonight, so you've got me. Well, I mean, sorry about that. But I've kind of gone full circle. For a long time, I was thinking, just sell Wilf. We shouldn't be a one-man team. We need the money. But what Jel says is absolutely right. Now, whatever we might get for him, by the time we pay United back, it's not going to be worth it. And I blame the board. They should never have let us become a one-man team in the first place. But now we are. And to a certain extent, I think we should keep Wilf.
Can I
just come in? I don't think we are a one-man team. That's controversial, isn't it? Because everyone's saying that we are. Because look at the other players that are missing. I'll give you 3 players that didn't play yesterday that would have made a difference to that performance. James Tompkins, James MacArthur, and Jeffrey Schlupp. All 3 of those players will get in that first team if fit and would have made a difference. You look at where the goals came yesterday. The first goal was Scott Dan and Van Arnold not knowing what to do, getting in each other's way. The second goal was Van Arnold falling over and then getting a corner and then us not defending it well enough at centre-back for the corner. The third goal was Patrick Van Arnold, again, falling over.
Someone's going to make a gif of that, aren't they? They're going to have to make a gif of it getting
steamrolled. Falling over.
This has been this has been this was a point that I made yesterday on social media, that people have been saying that Tyreek Mitchell has been a little bit sketchy over the last couple of weeks. And he's been exposed, because when you're a fullback, well, a defensive fullback, because he's not given carte blanche to go forward and attack as much, but you need protection from your left side of midfield. That's just the way that it is. He's not £100 million left back. He's not Ashley Cole that can defend on his own, or and he's also he hasn't got huge amounts of experience. But what he is he's better than PVA. On his bad day, he's better than PVA. I can't see Mitchell making those 3 mistakes. I can't see that in one game like that. He might not shut down quick enough, but he will certainly go towards a player and try and shut him down, rather than try and cover a bit of space off and let crosses come in repeatedly, which is what PVA has done repeatedly, match on match, every single time he's played, every single season he's played for us. And yeah, exactly. But the thing to me, we seem to have a bit of a lack of moral courage at the moment as well, about trying to, if you're going to go up for a header, I mean, for me, although there was the 2 defenders, made the. I think Guaita was to blame, partly to blame. The thing is, if you come out as a goalkeeper, you get a chance. You do get the chance to try and legitimately punch the ball. If you miss the ball, you can punch someone in the face. Seriously, you just go. He got a deflection. They're going to go to keeper, come for it. But the keeper goes up, shouts. It's a free kick. He's not been commanding his area. He wasn't fantastic yesterday, but I don't know. There's so much wrong, and I think where confidence breeds confidence, I think that what's happened now is we're on a bit of a spiral, and I think it's affecting everyone's confidence. We've got a huge amount of injuries. I think we've got players. My personal opinion is that Sacco says when he's fit, we all know that he's not going to play for Palace anymore. We have an aging squad which is struggling up against what now is turned into. Used to be everyone had to be over 6 foot, 6'3". Look at all the really good sides. They're all very big players. Now they're all very fast players. They're all ultra fit. We're not fast and we're not ultra fit. When all our players are fitter and can play, then we're reasonably fast. We've got decent pace with Jeff Schlupp, but only down the left-hand side. That's all we've got. And once people work out our threat down the left-hand side, I think they pretty much work us out. Which is why a point I wanted to make earlier was the absolute literal. We always say it as a joke sometimes, that there's no plan B. We have the capability, and I've said it for ages. Ian, we've been saying this for 5 years longer, that if we're chasing a game and we have got an absolute lack of defenders, then don't put Kouyaté. Put Kouyaté in the middle. Go 3-5-2. Flood the middle. We get overrun in the middle so much that we have to go 3-5. So we're chasing a game. There's no point going 4-2-4. We just get overrun again. It's ridiculous.
It's just you're waiting for it to happen, aren't you? With Hodgson, when we go the way he plays his system. If we are 2-0 down to him, that's like a moral victory. He's happy just to shore it up there, and not go to try and get another goal and maybe lose another goal. But you're seeing other teams such as Leeds and that, losing 4-2 today, but they were 3-0 down at one point, weren't they? And
4-0 down, mate.
Sorry?
Yeah. They were 4-0 down at one point.
Right, okay, but then they went for it and got 2 back. And I'd sooner see that in my team than just giving up the ghost. At 10 minutes, we all knew what the result was going to be, didn't we? there can't be anyone out there, apart from you, Mr. Noble, on the prediction league, thinking that we were going to get anything out of that game.
I said I'll
was
take
just
2-2 at half time.
yeah, and then it went.
And then when the third one went in, I tweeted, "I'll give up."
No, you did. I saw it. Before we go, if you can just go into the question, into the review, and have a look at some of the things that some of the guys are saying out there, because I've been watching. There's quite a few decent comments here.
I mean, there's been.
I just want to make one more point, and then we can have a free for all from outside of us. We want people to get involved. Let's get some people involved. So, but a few years, you obviously know, before I started doing Red and Blue Review and Red and Blue News for you guys, I was involved with a different podcast, and I was privy to interviewing Parish and a few of the other guys up close and personal in private spaces and in pubs and stuff, and we had a really good relationship, win, lose or draw, with the chairman of our club, the chairman and one of the owners at the time, a 25% owner, and he was, although he took a bit of stick on social media, he used to talk to the fans. Now the last sort of 2 or 3 years, he is Steve Parish especially has completely withdrawn away from, even if he just put his hand, the respect he would get if he came onto social media and went, look, things aren't going very well, we need to, this is our plan, this is what we plan to do. Some of you are gonna go, thanks for sending us, don't agree with it, but some of you are going to go completely mental and give it everything you can at me, but this is the way it's going to be. You would understand, because for years and years we had a relationship with our chairman, and we were a family club. You felt included into the inner sanctum of what was a family club. Our players were, that photograph of Delaney, Jedinak, Austin, Speroni, all in that big chunk, that line with a player about to shoot and people throwing their bodies in a way. It epitomised the solidarity and the absolute solid core of our club. We don't have that at all. Honestly, I could sit here and weep for how lost our club looks in less than 3 years. And people go, oh yeah, you're in the Premier League. Yeah, we're in the Premier League. I'm telling you now, we are literally treading water. And
we have been.
He once said to us, if you don't invest, then you go sideways. And when you go sideways, you eventually go down. And I can't see us being able to substantiate this for 1 year. And if we do need to rebuild, we need to rebuild so big that it's almost going to be like coming into a Premier League as a newly promoted Championship side. Tim?
No, I completely agree with you. I think I said to Ian a while ago, even from over here, I guess the link for me for Palace is even stronger than it was when I was in the UK. But looking at it now, that's one of the saddest things, is how we've gone from a family club where you, right or wrong, you actually got a feeling the players, the staff, the chairman, the board cared about the fans, and actually it made a difference. Now it's just numbers on a sheet. Whether that's the American owners or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, it's not the club it used to be. There is no care. And I think I put a question in the questions group the other day. Is the link irrevocably broken now? Has it been too long? Has too much damage been done?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I get lost for words sometimes, and most people know. It's not like me. Ian Lyons, what are they saying in the chat, mate?
Right, okay. Well, Jason Cadle reckons you're a better left back than PVA, but I told him to keep off the drink.
But I know that.
Joe, I bet you do. Joan was saying that, we should be bringing some of the youngsters through, but clearly we covered this on last week, Joan. I'm not sure if you saw. Apparently they have to be in a bubble, but I think a lot of us would agree that why not start the bubble now and at least get some of them in? That's for sure. Then we've got blimey, they're coming through thick and fast. Nigel Croucher, VG needs to be rested or dropped. I think a lot of us think that Butland is a great deputy, and I'd like to give him a run. So that's for sure. Max Francis desperately need a young centre back in the summer. Jill, you've been saying it for a long time. I said last season that we should have gone for Samori from Chelsea. Lee showed us again, Matty Cannon. Lee showed us how unfit we are, and I think this is another thing. The way Roy sets the system up, it's just to soak up the pressure rather than a high press. But we can see from the way Liverpool are conceding goals at the minute. If you play a high press or don't play it 100% as it should be, then you get found out. So you've got to be careful with that. Tony Quinn, we need to go back to a 5-4-1 and just learn to defend again. Well, are we confident that a 4-5-1 will stop the goal? So I'm not so sure. And the last one I can see at the minute will be Mark Drew. It's hard to find positives. I think that about sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ian Noble, you always seem to find a positive when I'm full of negatives. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really difficult now. It's really difficult.
Where's Nick's bus? You just run him over with it.
What's really important next week against Brighton is that we don't concede early. This is so important. So I think we've got to go 4-5-1 against Brighton. And almost in every game now, we've got to go to make it really hard for people to score against us in the first half, really. And then we can always come and chase the game later on. We've got players that have got some flair that can turn a game and make a difference. When Will's fit, obviously, as a Jordan Ayew even, he can take people on and not look up and not pass to anyone and shoot. So there are ways to get out of a game. There are different ways to win a game of football. And I just think we need to be a lot harder to beat early on in a game. And we mustn't concede early. They've got to drill this into them in the training pitch in the next week. Do not concede early, And if you do, this is what you do. If you do, then this is your mindset. It's not, oh, shit, we've lost the game. It's still keep to the discipline of what we've been doing. Does that make sense?
See, it does. But the thing is, what they've got on their side, or who they've got on their side, is Lewis Dunk. And I believe that he dislikes us as much as I like Charlton.
Hardly surprising, is it?
Seriously.
Surprising.
No, and that's the thing. And I'm telling you now, as much as I don't like him, he is their leader. And
the words I was going to say,
would absolutely smash it if he thought that any of their players were going to bottle it for that game, right, at their place, he would be fighting them in that dressing room. I'm telling you now, because the manager won't have to G him up for that game. I'm telling you now, he won't have to G him up. And if we go down there without Wilf, we take away, I think, 2/3 of our natural attacking talent because they will just purely want to get him out of the game and pay him too much attention. I think it gives carte blanche for them to line up against us very easily. And again, we've already said this, and again, I've said this loads of times now. They have a very good manager. And they play very good football, even though they haven't had the results that they probably deserved over the last 2 seasons. But we could go down there on Monday and we could have our asses handed to us in a very big way. Because all we need to do is for Brighton to have a day like Liverpool did. And they give us an idea. And I think their firepower, they have got loads of firepower. And we don't. They've got players, that they can bring on better. I think they can bring on better players than us.
They keep the ball better in the final third.
Yeah, but this is what I said. So 2 years ago, me and Nick went to the home game, and we sat there, and I said to him, "Look at what they're doing to us on our pitch." It was the game when what's his face curled it in the top corner and run past, giving it all to the kids.
Glenn Murray's
yeah.
Exactly. So they done us on our own patch, and deserve. But what they did was they gave us a lesson in football that day, and they played a literal U across the back, and they played it from their tall right back to the centre back, to the centre back, to the full back. Then they went back to the goalkeeper. He'd give it to Dunk, and then it went across and up and a back and across and up. And they literally bored us to death and kept the ball off of us. And what it did is it made us jump into them, go at them in frustration, and then they were able to release players up the right hand side. Most of their attacks, if you know, were aimed at the weakness for the last sort of 3 or 4 years. Has been our left-sided left back. When Schlupp was, that's the thing as well. But Schlupp today, we're missing Jeffrey Schlupp without a doubt. We're not missing, but we're not missing him at left back. He is not a good left back. No. He's a good player when he's going forward, but he's not a left back. He jogs back. Patrick Van Arnold is not a good left back, and he jogs back. Do you know what I mean? He's a better offensive player.
I think the last 2 games, especially, is old Jimmy Matt in the middle.
Yeah, but I've said that Jimmy Matt's been our best player.
I think he'll be back with Brighton.
He's been consistently our best player since the day that he signed. I don't care what anyone says. We and I said again loads of times, when Jimmy Matt has gone, then we will go, Jesus, we have lost the engine room in our club. That guy is, you know, whatever he is, 33 years old, and he is fitter than most blokes 5 years younger than him. You know, someone said he wasn't a box-to-box player. I think he is. I think that he...
That's exactly what he is.
That's what I'm saying. He's still a box-to-box player at 33 years old. So I'm just... You know, Mark Wills has turned around and said, bring Derry in. I've just seen it come up on our screen. Bring Derry and Delaney in. Jesus, I think that those two would be fighting. I think there'd be trouble. I don't think that'd be very good for the team. Because I think they've been pampered to for so many years now. If you've got a couple of old school footballers in that the badge means something to, I think they'd be fight. I think there would be fights. I think there'd just be brawls everywhere because they'd be ironing players out left, right, and centre. The foreign players wouldn't know what's going on. I don't think they have that. You know, in these schools and academies they've got, they're not brought up the way that English players are brought up, fighting each other for their places on the training grounds. And the players like to see fisticuffs. The managers like to see fisticuffs because it literally induces a bit of passion. It induces a bit of try. You know, it really does. It might be a reason. You know, some of the injuries in the past.
I just got to interrupt you, Jel. I want to read Andrew Adams' comment out. Andrew says, even Jordan Much would look decent in this squad.
I always rated him.
Well done, Andrew. I love all that. That's brilliant.
Hey, we should bar you for that if you said you've always rated him.
I always rated him. I thought he was a much maligned player.
Well, listen. I think we can, you know, on a day when I think the majority of the fan base, you know, are agreement with my fridge. We look at Ray McWilliam. He's turned around and said, "I see this in the chat. What's everyone's predictions? We'll wrap it up now. A short and sweet show. Everyone's predictions for the Brighton game. Tim, just a score.
Right,
come on.
Do Brighton and Fulham.
2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. Okay, and Fulham.
1-1.
1-1. Okay. Ian Noble.
My head says that we will lose to Brighton. My heart says we've got to get something out of the game. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw at Brighton. And Fulham, we're going to scrape a 1-0 win because you know how optimistic I always am. That's as good as it gets.
Mr. Lyons?
I'm not so sure I should be giving my predictions out.
Yeah, you should.
Right, you two.
You can always change your mind.
Right.
We don't matter to me. I'm not in your league.
I think, yeah, that's not the first time you said that. 3-1 Brighton And I'm inclined to go with Tim, and I'm going to say 1-1 Fulham. I can't see us getting any more than a point.
Ryan Corbett said, "Get Jimmy Kebby back." Mukhtar Butter, I'm going with you 3-0 Brighton. That's exactly what I'm going. But I'm going for a 1-1 draw with Fulham. I think we'll get that. And that'll be the 7 points that I said we'd get out of the 5 games. That 5 games that we talked about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll get, 7 points. I can't see us getting much after that. Unless, I mean, Wilf we have to have him back. Without Wilf, I absolutely fear that we will scrape through this season. I'm saying just. I've always been a pessimist about us, thinking that one day we would get dragged into the mire. But go on, like airlines quickly, because you had your hand up first.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to point out that Fulham have just won right now, so we are on 29 points. Brighton are on 26 points. So if they do what we say they're going to do, then they're level with us, and they'll probably go above us because they'll have a far better goal
They will.
difference. Burnley are on 26 points. Newcastle are on 25 points, and then Fulham are on 15. Still a bit of a gap there.
18, isn't it?
15. They've just won, haven't they? They've just won.
Yeah, so you give them 3 points for winning.
Yeah. But they're 15
You said 15 points. Fulham are on 18 points now.
Oh, sorry. I'm still looking at the BBC. I haven't updated their.
Look at the old one.
So they'll be 18. So they'll be on 18 then. So even closer.
I think the popular score prediction. What was that? Sorry.
I was saying that explains why he's on top.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the popular score prediction is 3-0 Brighton next Monday night. Okay. I was there in the away end for that 3-0 defeat a few years ago, and I will console myself with the fact that I will not be kept in the open air for an hour after the game in the pouring rain if we happen to lose 3-0. Because we've had more good days than bad days at the Amex down the years. I mean, the first win there was fantastic. Obviously, the playoff game was absolutely tremendous. And the last ever away game I went to was Brighton last March. 29th of February, wasn't it? 29th of February. We won 1-0. A bit of smash and grab, but it was a fantastic day out. We had a great day. So we've had more good days than bad days. And I'm hoping the boys will be up for it next week because it's a derby game, whichever way you like to look at it. They hate us. We hate them. We've got to win next week, guys. We must beat them.
Well, you would hope so. You would really hope so. Anyway, thanks, fellas, for trying to brighten up what has been a not very good weekend. I'm going to go into my front room now and give Lisa a listening to. And I think we can only hope for we can hope and pray that we don't get a hiding next time out. Anyway, Tim, thank you. Tim's also producing this show from New Zealand, so
well done, Tim.
Thank you very much.
12,000 miles away, Tim. Happy Monday morning to you.
I appreciate the two Ians for joining me tonight, fellas. Thank you very much. Thank you for your contributions. So, yeah, I'm sure that for whatever reason that Nick Philpott has skived off tonight, he'll be back for the next show, and hopefully he will have a more positive spin on what we hope isn't going to be a calamitous game. Thanks, everyone, and we'll catch up with you soon. Up the Eagles.
Cheers, guys.
Oh.